Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi everybody, welcome to Bayou Time Sports. We are complete with week 6 of the fall season of high school sports. That would be volleyball and football. We are in the home stretch. Volleyball only has about 3 weeks left, and then we start sorting things out as they get ready for the playoffs. Let's take a look at the records of our local teams as it stands now. PowerPoint rankings for volleyball much harder to find than they are for football, but we can sort of give you a guide as to who is going to be in, who is going to be out in Division I. It's our big high schools from the area, Terrebonne Central, HL, and Thibodaux. Terrebonne right now just dropped under the 500 level. They're at 13 and 14, but PowerPoint ranking wise, they would be just fine. They play a pretty tough schedule. The Lady Trojans of Central Lafourche are at 11 and 15. They had a win this week and they had a loss this past week. HL Bourgeois starting to play a little better. Remember, at one point they were well under 500 and they were struggling just a bit. But in the last 2 weeks, they've actually won 6 matches. They are now at 8 and 15 on the year. Thibodaux High is at 4 and 19. In all probability, the Lady Tigers of Thibodaux are going to be out of the playoffs. In Division II, South Lafourche is strong. They're 17 and 7. They're playing really well. They have a big match against South Terrebonne this week. Ellendon Memorial is at 14 and 13. But remember, Ellendon Memorial started off really well. They were at a clip at one point of 8 and 1 on the year, so it's been a struggle in the last few weeks for the Lady Patriots. Assumption coming on strong. They're 14 and 12 also, but the Lady Mustangs play a really tough schedule. And South Terrebonne is right at 500. They are 12 and 12. I think every team in that particular district is going to end up in the Division II bracket when it's all said and done. In Division III, E.D. White Catholic is 17 and 7. They'll be in, and they'll be at home, and hopefully they'll be in Lafayette, playing in the Cajun Dome when it's all said and done. Vanderbilt Catholic struggling just a little bit, but Vanderbilt is going to get into that bracket because they play such a really tough schedule. In Division IV, it's Houma Christian. They are 15 and 7. They only played once this past week, and they picked up a win. And in Division V, it's Covenant Christian. Covenant Christian going to be in that bracket for Division V. They are 15 and 9. Again, about 3 weeks left to volleyball in our area. Moving on to football, let's look at some scores from this past Friday night. Vanderbilt, a tough win against South Lafourche, 34-20 in that one. Thibodaux stayed with Hornville, but as the game wore on, the Tigers of Hornville pulled away in that one. Terrebonne, a furious rally. They actually recovered 2 onside kicks late in the game and had a chance to tie it right there at the end, but they missed a field goal. Final 31-28 against St. Charles Catholic. HL Bourgeois just couldn't hang with Destrehan. Destrehan starting to roll. A little bit of a surprise. East St. John picks up their first win of the year. They defeat Central Lafourche 32-14. That's a tough loss for Central Lafourche. E.D. White, no problems with Morgan City. They ran the clock in this one, and that game ended quite early. Same with Lutcher over South Terrebonne. Assumption scores late to defeat Ellendon. They win at 24-17. CCA, no problems with Berwick. Central Catholic on Thursday night really handles Hanson Memorial. West St. John, no problems with Houma Christian. As a matter of fact, Houma Christian having trouble scoring in their last 5 games. Houma Christian has been outscored 210-6. St. James and Shaw, which was billed as being one of the best games in the state of Louisiana, filled the bill. Shaw won it 24-20 as St. James came back with a furious rally but couldn't get the job done. And I realize that district standings don't mean as much as they used to, but we're going to take a quick look at district standings from around our area. Destrehan, they are 3-0. Hornville, 2-1, and Hornville has a win over Thibodaux High School. So all of this talk at the beginning of the year of the Bayou starting to compete and catch up with the river, Destrehan and Hornville are trying to say no to all of that. They're trying to, again, do what they do every year, kind of control that district. Terrebonne, a tough loss against St. Charles Catholic, but quite honestly, Terrebonne's 2 losses to Destrehan and St. Charles Catholic were to very good teams. So PowerPoint ranking-wise, they're still in really good shape. I mentioned East St. John picks up their first win of the year, and Central Lafourche, unfortunately, couldn't get that win in district against the Wildcats. Let's take a look at District 8 4A and 8 4A. The only team that we have that's undefeated in the area, Vanderbilt Catholic, is 6-0, 3-0 in district. So is E.D. White as far as undefeated in district, 3-0. But remember, E.D. White started off the year 0-3. Now, they play three of the toughest teams in the state of Louisiana, so they're ready to go related to district, and they have a big one against Lutcher this week. Lutcher picked up that big win against South Terrebonne. They're 2-1. Assumption is 2-1, but they're about to hit the really tough part of their schedule. South Lafourche fell to 1-2, but think about it, folks. They also have E.D. White and Vanderbilt out of the way. Allendale Memorial is 1-2, and South Terrebonne and Morgan City are faltering just a little bit as we move on in the schedule. Let's go to District 7 2A. Again, unfortunately for Houma Christian, can't generate any offense. They are 0-1 in district, 1-5 overall, as they play in a very good district. And finally, in District 7 1A, it's both Central Catholic and Covenant Christian. And Central Catholic has one game under their belt. They're 1-0. Covenant Christian has yet to play a district game. And watch out for Jeanerette. Man, I hear Jeanerette is really good this year on the single A level. So that'll be an interesting fight between those top three teams when it's all said and done. Got to take a timeout. We'll be back right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.